So here we have everything cleaned up. Got the clutches here, the frictions that have been sitting in transmission fluid, pre-soaking them. They already been in there for about an hour, so that's pretty good. So first thing, got this cleaned up. I got to put the piston in. I got to replace the O-ring that I took off here, and the kit has some O-rings here. Now the kit fits several different transmissions, so you just gotta find the right O-ring that fits correctly around it. Let's try this one. That looks like it fits. Now gotta replace the inner O-ring there. Let's try this one. And that one's it. Gonna throw a little fluid on here and drop it in there. The way I have it positioned is that these numbers and letters here are facing up, and that's how it goes on the shaft. So if the shaft is inside the transmission, this would just go right on top of it. Next we throw the band on here, spring, and this will kind of wavy. I don't know if you guys could tell, but the inner lip here is going to be the highest and the bottom lip would be the lowest, so it's kind of at a slope. Drop that in there, and I got some new frictions, the steel frictions and the steel bands that I'm going to be throwing in here, and I got some new frictions as well. Here's the old frictions. They're actually not in bad shape, but you could tell that they were slipping quite a bit. They still got some life on them, but just real bad. Throw the new ones on. Start with one in there. And before we throw this one on, I'm gonna hit it with some maroon Scotch-Brite. Make sure I roughen this up so it has a new surface to grab onto, and then we'll throw that on top, and I'll show you guys how to put the O-rings and everything else on it. So here we have it. As you guys could see, all that glaze was taken off of here, and just going to place it right on and put the snap ring on. You guys can see there, so you don't get the plates all messed up like the steel plates, but it has just enough room to put that clip in, and so that means you got the right plates on there. I gotta put the spring on, this spring here, which goes in here, and I gotta put that on, compress it down. I know at transmission shops they have like a little foot press that they use. Got some angle iron, cut this out. I know it looks ghetto, but it works. Put it onto here, use the press, push it down, and go ahead and put the little C-clip on. Gotta do that for both sides. So put that press, put a piece of wood underneath so you know you don't ruin anything. Put it right there, put the press pushing on it, then it'll push it all the way down, get the C-clip on, turn around, do the other side, and that'll be it for here for third and fourth. Alright, if you guys can see what I'm doing here, see I'll have the press right there, piece of wood, just pressed it on there, just got the clip on there. Gotta do the other side, so this would just go on like that, and just gotta press it on there, but just press it on and put that snap ring in. Alright, I got it down deep enough. I'm gonna need both hands to put the snap ring on, so won't be able to record that. Gotta put a piece of wood underneath the transmission to kind of lift it a little bit. Got one right here. Try to lift it up. Got the main shaft right here, and I changed out the O-rings that they have right here, the 3 O-rings. Just gonna put a little bit like assembly lube on the bearings so they all get no dry runs. Alright, so put that in there. Yep. And next, gonna drop in the bearings. These here, put a little bit of lube on them as well. Got some more bearings right here. Next, throw on the gear. And then another set of bearings. And then you're going to throw this on. It's like a washer, but bottom side would be the one with the step on it. And then next you're going to throw the drum for 3rd and 4th on there. And like I said, these numbers and these letters are going to be on the top side. Alright, so I took the main shaft out because I forgot to replace the ceiling rings. Here's the old ceiling rings, and these are just kind of like sliced, if you can see that. Just get a little flathead, take them off, and I already threw on the new ceiling rings. It's because I was on the secondary shaft, and I saw the ceiling rings on those, and I was like, oh man, I forgot. So I throw it back on. Just go and throw it back on here on the transmission and finish with that. Alright, so got all the parts cleaned up here and got the secondary shaft. I'm going to be installing the actual first gear onto it. Bearings, go ahead and lube them up. Next, some more bearings. Now you actually take first gear. Next, more bearings. Next, go ahead and put on these little half circles. Put on the cover. And put on the little C-clip. And now install the ceiling rings. Gonna be putting on the 3 O-rings on the shaft on the other side. Alright, so now that is taken care of, we're going to work on the drum here on the 1st and 2nd. So if you're looking at it, the one with splines would be on top because it's going to set in there just like that. This would be 1st and this would be 2nd. And there's some O-rings on the inside of the drum, and I got 2 here, 1 for each side. Alright, so we're going to be working on 2nd gear right now, and here's 2nd gear piston, and the 1st gear has like a little ring in the bottom, but this is the 2nd gear. Got to get the O-ring for the piston. Alright, and now do the same for 1st gear. Now put the spring on top, and don't gotta reuse these because the kit actually came with some new ones, and I'm gonna be using these. Go ahead and lube up the lip. So gonna be compressing it with the compressor, and putting on this little C-clip on there, the little snap ring. So gonna be putting in 2nd gear right now, and old 2nd gear, as you can see, completely gone on one side. Has some on here starting to come off there. Completely just messed up. There's nothing on there, hardly anything in the rear. I don't know how good you guys could see that, but yeah, it's just totally blown. by doing the other side, and gotta make sure to put in the ring in the bottom first before doing anything, and then go ahead and add the clutches. I know the camera died real quick, but I threw the clutches in, and the steels already hit this with the maroon Scotch-Brite. Throw it back on there. Oh, and also the clutches I'm using is the Rebestos, and the steels I'm using is Rebestos, and the clutches have the diamond pattern on them. Put this on. Already got the rings on there. There you go. That's what you want. You want a little bit of splines on there, because this goes on here. And then the bearings, already lubed them up. And the bearings on the shaft. And next, we throw on a second gear. And the bearings, already lubed them up. Alright, now I know it's a little bit hard to see, but gonna be throwing the secondary shaft right here. Finally have the transmission all put together. Really just got to put on the case here. Got it right here. Got to clean it up. But on the transmission, I don't know if I might have confused anyone with anything I did. If you guys can see there how it's all put together. I just had a little bit of trouble putting these gears on right here. I believe it's the reverse gear, and that's just because, you know, it's kind of hard to do with that bearing in there, so I just put the bearing and the gears together and just brought them down as one, so I didn't have to try to move anything or wiggle anything out of the way. There it is though. Hopefully this is a good video for you guys doing this, or you know, just trying to see all that is involved with it. But everything has been cleaned. That's pretty much the biggest thing that took time, putting this transmission together. And you know, I'm in limited work area, even where I'm stepping at. Only have a little bit of area here. You know, just how to make it happen. Do what you got to do. Of course, if I could wash all the parts at once, you know, that would make everything so much easier. But you know, just making it happen. So next thing, we're gonna be cleaning out this case. You know, we got some dirt over here. Just gotta make sure to get all that dirt out. Make sure to clean those bearings. You can see all the dirt on there too. This is a magnet just to catch all the dirt right there. So gotta take that magnet out. Take off this old gasket with the razor blade. Probably knock off some of this dirt here. But I'm not really worried about cleaning the outside case right now. When I have all the sensors on and everything, it's sealed back up. Then I'll clean the outside case before I drop it back into the Accord. The reason why I'm going to clean this right now is because I don't want any of the dirt to fall onto the transmission once everything is cleaned. The case is clean, as you guys can see. I also cleaned up the magnet, and that just slides right out so you guys can clean it. Just slides out, and then this comes right off. But that's all clean. It was pretty dirty, as you could expect. And so that just go right back in the slot here. And I also cleaned up the reverse idler gear here. And so got this little part here.
Got 2 of the old O-rings, took those off because they new ones come in the kit. So I already got one of the O-rings on there, and I just need to put it right back into here. Just put a little bit of transmission oil on there and just slide it right back in. It does come out. So, and there's a little like indentation, I don't know what to call it, or a little cutout where you gotta fit it right in there, so it goes in a little bit further in there, just like that. And the bearings will go on there, and then you throw your other O-ring onto here. Transmission gasket here, there's 2 in the kit. Kinda at first I was like, what's the difference? But right here on the curvature, that would be the difference. One was like a little bit straighter, and this one is perfect. So I'm going to throw this on transmission real quick. Alright, now going to be throwing this case on now that everything's all cleaned up on it and we got everything ready to go. Now when we throw the transmission, well, the case back on, this reverse idler gear has to be inside of here, part with the line. There's, I don't know if you guys, yeah, you can see it right there. That side is going to be facing upwards towards you when you're throwing it back on. So it's going to go right here. I don't know if you guys can see. Here in this little area, it goes right in this little slot. And with your other hand, if you could just hold it, like get your finger in there and just hold it in there. You're going to have to lube everything up. You want to lube up these shafts, secondary, your counter shaft, and your main shaft where it's going to slide in on. Also lube up these feed tubes, even the small ones down there. Alright, so I have all the bolts to the transmission. I just kind of put them down. I haven't torqued them yet. You are going to torque them at 33 pounds. There is kind of a special bolt here that has 2 threads on it. It has 2 threads there, and it goes onto this bracket, and on these threads here are going to be connecting to the transmission, holding the transmission housing, but this other nut here is going to be holding onto this, like this mount. So this one just goes right in there. To be honest, I kind of just had the bolts in the corner and I kind of forgot where they went exactly, but good thing this diagram shows all the bolts and everything, so it didn't take me long to figure out where they all went. I kept the bolts on the brackets together, so everything just kind of just placed together, and you could just pretty much tell which bolts fit where. Just if you forget, just put it up next to it and it kind of could tell. Now I'm going to be torquing them down. When I was cleaning the case, I also took out the axle seal here, and when I put the case on, I had replaced it. I just forgot to mention that, but just so you guys know. And tightened up the drain bolt as well. And I believe there's a spec on there. I always do it to like hand tight or just a little push. I believe the spec on that, I might be slightly off, but I believe it's 26 pounds. Alright, so next thing we're going to do, that reverse idler, this goes right in there, and it's going to go right in, and it's going to be held down with 10mm bolts. Alright, so now we need to finish this up. Going to put on the parking gear, have it right here. Put that on to here, and if you remember, we had to take it off with the puller. I was watching one of the other guys' videos, username automatic transmission. His name is Hiram, and the way he puts it down, and it's not going to damage anything. I mean, I'm not worried about it. You get a socket that's deep enough and go ahead and just hit it down. Okay, now on this one, we're going to wait to put in that final gear. That's going to be the last one we put on. We're just going to put it onto here. This is going to be the gear. You got to put the washer. It has an X on there. That side is going to be up. but the inner side is going to be the lower side because it is kind of, I forgot you guys can't see it, but the inner side is going to be the lower side. Just X side up. I'm going to torque them down to 123 pounds. I'm not going to tighten it just yet because I have no way of stopping it from moving, but we're going to just put a little bit on it. Alright, now on this other one, put on the smaller gear, and also you could push these other ones down with the socket. Bearings go here, go on right there, and throw on the gear, and of course gonna have this side up, go with the little lip because the bearings are gonna rotate on here. Another one right here. Go ahead and put the washers on. Make sure you have X side up. Alright, before we can tighten these up, I still got to put this other nut on here. I got the washers on there, but we're going to go ahead and throw the parking components. We're going to get the spring. It's going to be down like this, small and down. And it's going to be hitting up against a little pin on the little shift rod. And then these pieces are going to go in like that and go right down. And then we get the bolt and the little bend tab. And just bend the tab, so go ahead and put in this little pin, or the big pin I should say, right into here. Spring, one end goes down into the hole in the transmission, in the case. This is what holds the parking gear. And of course one end of the spring would go into here. Put in the pin that stops it from going all the way back, right into the hole. Alright, so I was trying to tighten down the the nut for the parking, and realized I have this the wrong way because it's not tightening. I mean, it's not going into park. So I actually found a mistake. Yeah, so I had it the wrong way. So this is gonna go like that, then set into there like this. Now it'll go in, the bolt and everything will go into here. And there it goes. Makes contact into this little notch, and now it can tighten it. So now we got everything on here. We just gotta make the indentation on these nuts, just so they don't back out. Gonna work on the cover for the transmission, finish this thing up. So gotta take this gasket off, clean it up, take off this the snap ring. There's another ring here, gotta take it off. There's some seals in there that we gotta change out. And gotta take off this little O-ring, this little seal for the shaft. Just clean it up, put new seals on, close it up, and finish this thing up, man. Okay, so it's all cleaned up. I got the new seals right here, and so we just gotta throw it together. These come apart. There is a little O-ring in here, so gotta throw that back in. So that'll be like that. Make sure y'all see it. I gotta put the ring up here. Just it. Yep. A smaller one, which also comes apart like that. So this one goes here. This other one right there. The snap rings back in. Now when I took off the gasket, there was O-rings right here for the feed tubes. There's going to be 3 of them. And I do have the new ones here that came in the kit. And also I took out the that shift seal. I have it right here. Go and put that on. Alright. Now I already have the gasket on here. There's 2 gaskets in the kit. And just gotta find the one that fits right. So on the feed tubes, we're going to put this these O-rings around them. Put this other one over here, and another one right over here. I'm just going to cover it right up. Alright, so the battery had died while I was putting everything together. Best advice I could give to put this cover on is you're probably going to have to take it on and off a couple of times until you finally get it right and it falls right in. There'll be like a little bit of a gap, but just kind of put the bolts in, kind of start them by hand, and after you have the bolts in, it'll kind of center out. I took a dead blow hammer. This is just like a 2-pound plastic dead blow. Once I had the bolts, hit it with the dead blow, came down, started tightening all the bolts, just snug, and then torque them down to 9 pounds. Now all I gotta do, put on the sensors, put on the hose. Pretty much done with this transmission. Then we just gotta put it in the car. I actually just got done cleaning the sensors, and let's go check those out.